Yes, guys. What's up? Listen, just wanted to make a quick video today because it's just something that's really been on my mind for the past few years, and I don't know, maybe I'm seeing it the wrong way. I don't know, but let me let you guys decide. Just what I believe. I believe that in boxing, in professional boxing, there should be a coach's contract. As you guys know or might not know, in professional boxing, there is no contract for boxing coaches. There is only a managerial contract. So you and your manager, you sign a 3-year deal or a 5-year deal or whatever. But for the coach, there is no contract. So you're able to do a whole camp with a certain coach. A week before the fight, you can say, you know what, thank you, but no thank you. Thank you for the 8 to 10 weeks of hard work, planning my workouts, looking after me in the gym, sorting out my sparring. But now it's time to fight. I'm gonna go to another coach, and he's gonna get the money that you was meant to get. But for a boxing manager, you can't do that. You can't just have one fight and leave your manager and go to the next one, the next fight, because you have to sign a you have to sign a managerial British Boxing Board of Control contract. So, I just feel like it's an injustice because I know that the managers work hard and they go out their way to make deals and make the phone calls and sort out everything. But the coach works harder. I believe that the coach works a lot harder than what the manager works. Why? The coach is with you in the gym every fucking day. The coach plans the workout. He's out with you in the sprints, in the cold. He's out in the hills with you. He keeps your time. He watches all your sparring, and the coach has to sacrifice much more of his life. Whereas the boxing manager, he can be in a different country and do his job. He can be in a beach in Dubai or in Spain. He can go wherever he wants, live a good life, do his job. He don't need to physically be there. There is no physical labor in being a boxing manager. But with the coach, there is a physical labor. So this is why I believe that, because I've seen what happens sometimes is that a coach might be with a fighter from his first fight, and then as soon as he gets big time and he's about to make his first ever half decent paycheck, he leaves the coach and he goes and gets a new coach. And that coach must be there thinking, like, I've worked with this guy, I've taken him through the ranks, through the fights where he wasn't making no money. Now he's about to get paid some decent money. He's gone and left me and gone to a more well-known coach. But for a manager, you can't do that because a lot of times we sign a 5-year deal. So even if you and your manager have an argument or you don't like him no more, you can't just leave him and get out of the contract. You can't. You're stuck there. So this is just one of the injustices that I believe that need to be changed. And another one that needs to be changed is the payment system. Okay, because the managers can take anywhere after the managers take up to 25%. I spoke to my friend yesterday and he said that out in America, a lot of the managers take up to 30 to 35% of a fighter's paycheck. For what? For making a few phone calls and sorting out some links and making a fight happen, and for the negotiation, which is hard, which is a hard job. It's not an easy job, don't get me wrong. The managers do go out their way, but not to be taking a 35% of what the fighter makes, and the coach gets a 10%, because that's what the coaches earn. Coaches usually get a 10% of what the fighter makes. When you're making millions and millions and millions, a lot of the time you sit down with a coach and you come to an agreement. They might get 8% or 5%, or you might put them on a monthly wage or whatever. But in general terms, the boxing coach will get a 10% of what the fighter makes. So why is it that the manager's making more? The coach is the one that does all the hard work. The coach is the one that got the fighter in shape to fight. The coach is the one that done the sparring, went out there to the hills, was up early in the morning with the fighter. Why is it that the coach gets only a 10% and the manager gets much more? Managers usually take, in this country, they usually take between 15 to 25%, which I don't believe is right. It should be the other way around. The coach should be getting more and the manager should be getting a bit less, or at least make it even, and at least make a contract for a boxing coach, so a fighter can't just leave a boxing coach once he gets big time. And I believe this is a bit messed up, it's a bit messed up. I just believe that this is one of the things in boxing, one of the things that the British Boxing Board of Control need to look into and get changed. And most times in boxing, the fighters leave the coach, or the fighters and the coach part ways. Usually, fighters and the managers don't part ways. Why? Because the manager's job is fairly easier than what a coach does. The manager doesn't have to see the fighter. The manager might only see the fighter once that camp, or he don't have to see you during the camp. You can have a whole camp. The manager phones you once or twice, make sure everything's good, do your medicals, your brain scan, you know, get your license topped up and all that shit. And that's what he does. He might phone you once or twice for the whole camp. But your coach, you see him every day in the gym. And sometimes when you're around someone too much, you have arguments, or they say things that get on your nerves, or you have little arguments in the gym every now and again. And this is why fighters and their coaches always have to part ways. But fighters and their manager, they hardly ever part ways because you don't see the manager. But when you see someone every day, and the way they talk starts to get on your nerves, because you're dieting and you're angry and you're in a bad mood during camp because you're working hard and you're seeing this guy every day in the gym and he says something that you don't like, or he says it the wrong way and you don't like this guy no more, and then you end up leaving him. This is why most times fighters and their coaches, a lot of times they part ways. Me, I've had a couple of coaches in my boxing career. I've had about 5 coaches. Just a lot of the times we part ways, something goes wrong, something happens. And listen, I've been with Lee Eaton. I'm being managed by Lee Eaton. I've had two boxing managers. I've had Charlie Sims and Lee Eaton, yeah. But from the time I've been with Lee Eaton, I've had a couple of coaches. I've had more than 2 boxing coaches, probably 3 or 4 during the time I've been with Lee Eaton. But I haven't left Lee Eaton. Me and Lee Eaton have been together since, because I hardly see the guy. But I'm seeing a coach in the gym every day. Every day, small arguments in the gym. I know I'm just going round in circles now. I'm just repeating myself, but this is something that the Boxing Board of Control need to look at, and change, because I really don't think this is right. And the last point I want to make is, boxing managers can manage up to 15, 20 fighters. One boxing manager can manage about 15 to 20 fighters, because a lot of times he can manage about 10 and then he gets an assistant that can take on another 5, but he manages everyone. A coach can't coach 10 to 20 fighters. Why? Because doing a camp with 1 fighter is hard enough. A lot of coaches, they can have 3 fighters, 4, maybe 5, but only 1 or 2 of them are at a high level, and they're making less than what the manager makes, and they're working much harder in terms of the physical labor than what a manager does. If I had to decide one day to either become a boxing coach or a boxing manager, absolutely I'm going to be a boxing manager. Be a boxing coach, ain't no way I will ever be a boxing coach in my life, because it's not fair for them. It's just not fair for them. You train a fighter so he gets so big one day and then he just leaves you, and then by the your 10% might have been half decent money for you as a coach. You're like, yeah, finally we've worked hard for 5 years and he's on a big stage fighting live on TV. I'm gonna get my first decent paycheck, and he might lose that fight and then he chooses to get another coach, and you're left with nothing, and you've got to start again, find another young fighter, training for 5 years, 10 years, and from when he's young he turns pro with you, and then he gets in a big stage and something happens, or and then him and you part ways. Actually thinking, I put in 5 to 10 years of work into this guy, and he's just gonna leave me, and then what happened? You look for the next young up and coming fighter. Okay, cool, do the same thing. And being a boxing coach, it can be a thing where you're constantly helping fighters get to a decent level, and then they leave you. There ain't no guarantee that they're gonna stay. Ain't no guarantee. And if they leave you, you've got no right to say or to demand anything. You can't say, I've trained you for 5 years, 10 years, so I deserve a cut of your next fight paycheck. Even though he does, there is no legal document. There is nothing that you signed to allow you to do that, you know. But as a manager, if you got a boxing manager and you wanna leave him, he can stop you from fighting, or he can say, okay, cool, you can still fight, but you got to give me my percentage. You can go and get another manager if you want, and you can pay him, but after you fight, I'm still entitled to my paycheck because you signed the contract. Anyway, that's just the injustice that I believe that needs to be changed in boxing. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.